ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Kent Holste Podcast right here on KentHolstePodcast.com and as well as the YouTube channel. I'm so glad you decided to click that link and join in the conversation on the YouTube channel in the comments spot and see what good we can create with helping and building people up. So let's do that today as we get into this podcast where we're going to talk about not forgetting where you came from. And I think we sometimes forget where we come from because we tend to just get in the groove of the here and now. But what's the importance of remembering where we came from? I think there's so many different things that go with that answer. And we're going to touch base on that and see what comes up. In the comment spot, go ahead and start creating the conversation and just talk about why is home important to you? What makes home so unique and special? You know, for me, I've been fortunate to call many places my home. You know, for one, I'm very fortunate to live in this country just like everybody else in the United States, where we have the freedoms that we do, that we have the ability to worship the way that we do because of freedom of religion. I'm proud to live in a country where I can go out and go hunting and be able to support my family by feeding them with situations where I may get a duck or a goose or even a deer, even though I haven't done that in a long time. But I think it's special also that I got to grow up and see so many amazing places within our country, but most importantly, where I came from, the most beautiful part of the country that I've ever seen, and that's in the northwest corner of Montana, where Glacier National Park is close by, the Rocky Mountains are close by, the amazing fields and streams, the lakes. Doesn't get any better than that. But for me, I think home is more than that. It's not just the surrounding area, but it's the people. The people that you've come to know and respect. That's what home is. But also home could be your family. The people that you grew up with, like your brothers, your sisters, your parents. Maybe you're the lucky ones that got to have their whole family around, like their cousins and their grandparents, their aunts and uncles. I didn't get to know any of that until I was a lot older. But being adopted, a lot of my family was in other states in the country, like Nebraska, Kansas, Ohio, Wisconsin, Texas. They're all spread out. But remembering where you came from, remembering what your home is, where your home is very important because it reminds you of how you were raised. It reminds you of the values that you grow up on. You know, I was very fortunate, and I talk about this all the time, about how both of my adoptive parents were very strong in their faith, in the Lutheran faith. How they raised my brother and I to be the best we could be as far as our morals, even though I didn't accept a lot of them. But as you grow older, you start to realize just how important those core values are. I think that's what that whole meaning of remembering who you are, remembering where your home is. You know, I said at the beginning I was very fortunate to live all over this country. Of course, I was born and raised in Montana. I also called Wyoming home for a little bit. New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Maine, Vermont, Kansas, and now Texas. All unique in various different ways. And we claim to be a country that is united as one, but yet there's so many unique things about each state. Rich history. You think of Wyoming and Wild Bill. You think of New England with how our country was all started in that area. And living there and seeing all the rich history with Boston and being in Portsmouth and Gloucester, Massachusetts. It's amazing to see all these old, unique buildings, old factories. And then going to Kansas, where I always grew up going to every summer and having the opportunity to live there for a year and just seeing how amazing it is to be in the heartland of America. And then being in Texas now, home to the true Wild Wild West. A lot of history here. But the values and morals of each state are so special and unique in so many different ways. But they always say home is where the heart is. And I agree. Because I may have been born and raised in Montana, but no matter what, I will have the opportunity to say that Wyoming was my home, New Hampshire was my home, Massachusetts was my home, Texas is my home. And it's funny. I went back home. The last time I was there in Montana was in 2012. And for a while, it was great to be home. But as I was leaving to go back to the East Coast, I just got that feeling that it wasn't my home anymore. That where I was living at the time was my home. But that doesn't replace that historically or whatever, Montana was my home. And it will always be my home. Because there's so many memories there, so many great people that helped form me to the person that I am today. Just like in each state, there was people that inspired my life, that helped create me to be a bigger and better person. Some of those experiences were good. Some of those experiences were bad. But no matter what, that doesn't replace how special each and every one of those places were to me. Because it was home. But what about the feelings of the emotional aspect of being home, where you live? We all try to create our homes to be comfortable. And no matter what, you try to set up your house to where you're comfortable, and chances are, in some aspects, you recreate some part as a reminder of what it was like to be home. I know I have. And maybe you don't. Maybe you'd like to create a new memory, a new beginning, creating a new home. And I think that as we become older as adults, we try to create a new home as we get married and start having kids. I think that's what makes being an adult so special and unique, because your home changes. Your home begins to grow. Your home begins to have more meaning. I know it does for me. I know that my thoughts and my feelings about my home is more than just a building with walls and a roof. It's the memories of my kids being all together. That's my home. But what about your other homes? What about your faith? That's your home too, right? A lot of people refer to their church as their home church. It's the key word, home. It's your home. It's where you're comfortable. It's where you have your family. But a lot of this stuff reminds us who we are as people. Every time you step foot back into your home, you're reminded of all the blessings that you have in your life. The moment when your wife or your husband comes home and they drop their things and they embrace you, that's your home. When your kids come back home from school and they get off the bus or they get out of the car and they haven't seen you all day, and you see that excitement in their eyes as they run in the door, dropping their bags and giving you a hug, saying, "Dad, Mom, I missed you." That is your home. That is a reminder of who you are as a person. Where do you come from? What is your home, and what does that mean to you? Because I kind of told you what it means to me. Having the ability to wake up every single day knowing that you have another day to enjoy your home, your family, your friends, your job. Because for a lot of us, we spend most of our time more at our jobs than we do at home. So sometimes we say jokingly that our jobs are our second home. And sometimes we're happy at our jobs and sometimes we're not. Sometimes we're happy at home, sometimes we're not. But we all learn to enjoy it in some way. Our home is our calming place, right? It's where we take off our shoes, sit down and put our feet up and relax. Whether it be in the living room or if you have a nice porch. When I think about coming home, I think about being a kid and traveling to Kansas and going to my mom's parents' house, my grandparents, To me, that was another home. Or going to my Uncle Kurt's farm, spending time there and going out into the barn and playing in the hay bale barn. That was home. Home is where your heart is, right? All those places have special meaning and are unique. To me, it's like another home. But it makes you who you are. It forms you to be the person that you should be. And sometimes in the midst of our problems and our struggles, we forget who we are and where our home is. Where our heart should be is where we create our home. I forget that. I sometimes forget how ungrateful I am. And I forget that I should be reminded every single day of how special it is to have the home that I do have. The family that I do have. The kids that I have. That's what home means to me. Home is a very special place. And even though I haven't been back to Kalispell, Montana since 2012, I sometimes find myself going to Google Earth or going on YouTube and watching videos about home and seeing the scenery, the lake, the mountains, seeing old videos of my high school's marching band or watching highlights of my old high school's football games. It reminds me of where I came from. The pride that I have knowing that I was, even though I didn't partake in any sports, I will always be a Flathead Brave because I'm proud of my heritage. I'm proud of where I grew up. I'm proud of all the people who I came to know. I'm proud of all the relationships that I had, even though I may have done a lot of stupid things to end those relationships or cause those relationships to end. Those memories still remain in my heart. Because for some people, it's hard to let go of the things that once were. But what people forget is sometimes no matter how hard those memories are or how good they are, sometimes it's good to keep those close. Because you end up having so much more respect for what your home used to be. And it makes you appreciate the home that you have now. When was the last time you really thought about where you came from, who you are, and what your home really is? Think about it. Think about what that means to you. How much do you value what your home means to you? Think about that. Are you looking for a positive place to join a great community? Well, go to the Kent Holste Podcast website, where you can find Circle of Friends. This is a page to be supportive by sharing special events that are positive or even letting others pray for you. A place that people can come together without fear of being judged, no matter race or disabilities. A time to be a part of that person that takes the time to care for others when it's needed most. We are all not just friends, we are family. It's Circle of Friends on the Kent Holste Podcast website. Check it out today. It's amazing what our community and our friendships mean to our home. And that's why, being a part of that circle of friends is so important. Because maybe that circle of friends is exactly what reminds you what home means to you. I used to have so many people that I was able to call friends. And as we grow older, we all go our separate ways. We lose contact with each other. And what's funny is I think a lot of people get this perception that just because they haven't been in contact or they haven't associated with each other in such a long period of time, that takes away the fact that they're still friends. And I think that's not right. If you were friends 2 minutes ago or 10, 20, 30 years ago, it doesn't matter. Once a friend, always a friend, right? Your friendships are another part of you. When I said your friendships could be labeled as a part of who you are and where your home is, because where do we feel most comfortable? Around people we know. Sometimes when we hang out with our friends, we feel like it is a sense of home. Because we're all laughing. We're enjoying time with each other. And even though those situations don't happen all the time, or they haven't happened in a very, very long time, it doesn't take away that that's a part of you. I wanted to talk about this because, a lot of my friends, a lot of the people that I knew growing up still live where I grew up. A lot of them haven't even left the state. A lot of them may have gone to school out of state and then came back home. Or a lot of people were lucky enough to have a good job right out of high school, and they still have those similar jobs. That's their home. That's what makes them feel comfortable. I have a friend that has always said they would never move from where they live. And I always wondered why. Like, you don't want to spread your wings and just grow and go somewhere else and make a name for yourself there? And they always say no, because this is my home. This is where my family is. Each one of us have our own unique idea of what home means to us. Each of us have our own ideas and perception of what will keep us who we are. And some of us feel like if we move or we go somewhere else, we'll lose a part of who we are. And that may be in some cases, but if you're truly how do I put this? Good at putting yourself out there the legacy that you may have left behind, the home that you may have left behind could quite possibly go with you because of how you present yourself, how you live your life, how you were raised, which goes back to who you are and what your home means to you. Because you can take your home, you can take who you are, no matter where you go. Yes, things around you may look different. Yes, there may be people that you've never even knew. But that doesn't mean that things are going to fully take you away from your home. Because you can move anywhere and that home feeling can come back. And fortunate for me, no matter where I went, it always felt like home. And it's all because of how I lived my life and how I designed things around me to go. And I guess it's because of being positive and looking at things in a positive aspect. Because you can't have a good home without being positive around it. That's true with anything. What makes your home, who you are, so unique and special? Is it because of how you live your life in a positive way? Is it because you're always willing to go beyond what it takes to be that person? To show people who you are by your kindness and by your heart? Because I know there's a lot of people in my life who have moved and they've always made that home, that feeling of who they are no matter where they went. Because if your home is that important to you, no matter if you move or if you stay at the same spot, who you are and what your home means to you will never, ever change. Your home should be just as important as anything else. And your home is your heart. Your heart is the most amazing feature of anything that anybody could live their life with. Because your heart is what is welcoming. Your heart is what gives out your kindness and your love, not just towards yourself, but to other people. How important is it to show what your heart really means, what your home really means to other people? How welcoming are you when it comes to who you are and what it means as your home to other people? Do you welcome them into your home, into your heart, so they can truly understand you and see the good in your heart? Think about that. Think about that today, about how important who you are and what your home truly means to you. I just want to take a moment to thank you for listening to today's podcast. Hopefully there's something on today's show that you've really enjoyed. And if that's the case, please like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, but also do the same things on the Kent Holste Podcast website. It really makes a big difference to those who are really trying to find something inspirational to help their lives. So thank you again for listening, and enjoy the rest of the podcast. So as we get ready to go our separate ways on this podcast, I hope that this was a topic that kind of reminded you about the importance of finding where your home is, where your heart is, who you are as a person, and what forms you to be that. I know not everybody has grown up in the same type of household that I did. But that doesn't mean that people can't start living a life like that, having a home like that, with kindness and understanding and respect and love. Because it didn't matter where I went as far as with my family, whether it be on my mom's side or my dad's side, there was always love. We were always there for each other. That's what home is. That's who we should be as people within our heart. Our main home that we have. So let's start living that way, right? Let's change our communities and our country and this world by displaying what our home should be, metaphorically and non-metaphorically. Because we should be welcoming everybody. We should be respecting everybody and welcoming them into our hearts and our home. We should be reminding ourselves the significance of the core values that we were raised by. Or we should get back to the basics of getting to those core values that we should have. You may think that, I don't have a place of my own, so I can't call this place my home. Or I don't have friends or family around, so I really don't have a home. That's not true. On this podcast, there's tons of people that will welcome you into their home, aka their heart. Because I'm not just your friend, and I may not know you, but you are all my family. And I value each and every person that listens to this podcast, that checks out all my videos, that goes to the website and looks at all the cool things that I have on there for you to enjoy. Because sometimes on these videos, you'll have a few laughs. Sometimes you may shed a few tears. Isn't that what we all do within our home? With our family, with our friends, we sometimes do those things together. There's nothing to be ashamed about. It's a good thing. It shows who you are as a person when you show emotion. Just like this past weekend, My grandmother on my mom's side just turned 101 years old. And for the first time in 12 years, all of my cousins and I got to see each other. I got to see all my nieces and nephews. I got to see all my cousins' kids. I got to see my aunts and uncles. And it was great to see everybody. But at the same time, I wanted to cry. It was the emotion of seeing my home, my family, people that I care about. That's what my home, who I am, really means. Even though I'm not blood related, it doesn't matter. Because these people are the people I grew up with. That I got the opportunity of playing out on a farm every summer growing up. Joking and laughing, having fun on the four-wheeler and the scooter and Grandpa's tractor. Going into the hay barn, going into the cattle barn, going out into the fields and the pastures and all that stuff. Those memories are my home. Those memories are what made me today. And without those people, who knows where my life would be or what I would be like. Something to think about. So make sure you join in the conversation in the comment spot on this YouTube video. And share what your home means to you. What makes you you? What has formed you to be the person that you are today? What life lessons have you learned, whether it be through friends or family or through your job? What places are your home to you? Not just the home that you go home to every single night, but other places that are unique and special and that has significant value to your life. The one place that I forgot to talk about that is definitely a second home to me is the church camp. I spent so many summers out there. 3 to 4 weeks staying out there. Enjoying the wilderness, the lake, the people. Those people are home to me. That camp is home to me. Because of all the things that happened. Do you have certain places like that that feel like home? And when you go back to visit, you get that feeling deep down inside of you that you just take a deep breath and go, yes, I'm home. It's funny. Sometimes we do it in the weirdest places too, like a restaurant or something. Like, this place reminds me of home. It's funny what reminds us of home, who we are, where we come from. So talk about that. Share it. You might be surprised who also has those same exact memories. That same place you call home is somebody else's home too. So let's talk about it. And as always, remember to think and be positive. Do what you can today, not what you can't. And I believe in you. Don't you think you should too? And make sure if you see someone who served our country, whether it be military, whether it be fire, police, medical, take the 2 minutes that it takes to give them an elbow. Tell them how much you appreciate them. You never know how much they might appreciate that. It all has to do with kindness. So be kind today. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait till 5 minutes, 15 minutes from now. Just do it. And also, if you like this video, if something I said today kind of snapped and got you thinking, something good that you can do with your life to create that feeling of home, that reminds you what home really means to you. It reminds you who you are as a person. Do that. Do that today. Share it, like it, comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't done it yet. Share this message of positivity and encouragement to other people, because there's someone who might need this. Until the next time we talk again, thank you for listening. I'm Kent Holste. Be safe and God bless.